Hi y'all, welcome to my channel, welcome to a new video. Mount Eerie, Lost Wisdom Part 2 album review. Let's talk about it. This is the latest album from Phil Elverum, aka Mount Eerie. He's been going by this name since the departure of his band The Microphones. And this is a second part to another album that was released back in 2008 called Lost Wisdom. On this first album, Phil put together a very solid set of somewhat vintage sounding vignettes, and he pulled through with this sound that was very poignant, very profound, but not as impactful or as deep or as profound as his later material, a la A Crow Looked at Me. And while those earlier albums aren't centered around such a personal loss for Phil, they still deliver on getting those people and their emotions and their feelings. On the first Lost Wisdom project, it was not only Phil, but it was Julie, Doiron, and Fred Squire. But Fred Squire's out of the mix on this project over here, and it's just Phil and Julie. Phil uses a lot of imagery in his writing, a lot of nature themes as well, and that is no different on this latest album right here. However, listening to the first Lost Wisdom, I was pretty comfortable with that being its own project. And I didn't even expect to have another addition to this Lost Wisdom series. I guess Phil continues. He is no stranger to continuing on albums and series and, I guess, themes in his music. However, it would be interesting or nice if this theme of Lost Wisdom would continue on to this album over here. However, this album kind of sounds very similar to his later material, A Crow Looked at Me, Now Only. Even with the song Widows, it talks about being a widow himself with the death of his wife from cancer back in 2016. However, let's stay on topic with the songs on this album. I find that a lot of the songs on here do deliver in potency, in emotionality, and a lot of the songs on here dive into the topics mainly of love. Love someone as much as you can. And that's not a bad sentiment. However, I wish they were a little more consistent, as I find a lot of the songwriting on this album to kind of end out of nowhere. Just kind of ends at some point and the song ends. A great example of that would be Pink Light. This was leading up to something and then it just kind of cut short. It feels like it was going somewhere. I kind of want to know where this was going. The longer songs on here are some of the longest songs on any Lost Wisdom project here. That mainly being the song Belief, which kind of drags on, personally, a little too long. It's just the same riffing, the same chords. It's nothing all that exciting. And it's not supposed to be exciting, it's supposed to be thought-provoking. So, is it thought-provoking? Not really. However, some of the other songs on here, like Real Lost Wisdom and Enduring the Waves, have a nice, quick runtime that actually tell you something throughout this runtime. The songwriting on here, again, is potent, it's impactful, it is thought-provoking. Is it some of the best? I don't think so. I genuinely think there are other projects in the Mount Eerie catalog that are better than this album. And a lot of songs on here are not really up to snuff with Phil's other material. Nonetheless, I think this is a good record, but it just has a few kinks here and there. The song Widows, while it is a very touching track, it doesn't even fit stylistically on this album. It's not one of the worst songs on here, but it's not one of my favorites. Again, the themes on this song deal with Phil being a widow, telling his daughter, love as much as you can, with these guitars, these low-fidelity guitars that are just strumming away in the background. They're loud. They're at the forefront of your mind when listening to this track. Sometimes they pop up out of nowhere, sometimes they grow a little bit, and then the song ends. It does sound a little sporadic, a little bit chaotic, but nonetheless, it's not one of the worst songs on here. And I think the messaging across this entire album can be worked on a little bit, as I feel like they just kind of need to stay a little consistent here, just a little consistent. Nonetheless, I still think this is a fine album. It's just something that I wouldn't go back to as much as other Phil projects, even though it's kind of hard to go back to Phil projects, Mount Eerie projects, because they're just so impactful, so raw at some points. I'm not saying create another, like, A Crow Looked at Me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, be consistent, be on topic, look at how you made those albums great, and utilize that same formula. So Mount Eerie, Lost Wisdom Part 2, I personally would give this album a B-. Again, not as strong as other Phil projects, but nonetheless worth a listen. Alright. Outro. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this album down below. Let me know what albums you want me to review next, and that is it. Leave a like, comment, share, do whatever you want. Let me know how I can improve future videos down below, and remember, this is only my opinion because music is subjective.